Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a story time about my past experience with domestic violence. But before I get started, I'm going to do the draw for the giveaway now as promised in my previous video. So I put the winner on the screen for the giveaway now. So congratulations, Tash. I'll be in touch with you about what $20 gift card you are wanting, and we will go from there. So before I get started with this story time, I just wanted to say, if this video is triggering at any time, I totally understand if you need to switch off and stop watching. So I'll get into this story time now. So basically, I met this guy online sometime back in 2011 on Facebook. So I met him through his cousin, as I knew his cousin from school. And yeah, we basically started chatting online, and we chatted online for a couple of weeks before we actually met in person, but we actually got together before we actually met in person. And obviously, at first, things weren't too bad at all. They were really, really good. And things didn't start to get bad until I lived with him. But he did have some controlling behaviors before I lived with him, but I just didn't notice it at the time. So this one particular thing that he would always do is, I used to go to TAFE at the time, and I was studying childcare. And he would want me to send him photos of what I was wearing. And this one day, he didn't like what I was wearing. He said it was inappropriate, but it wasn't at all. And so he told me that I had to change what I was wearing, and then I had to prove it by sending him a photo of me wearing something else. So I, of course, did that, and he said what I was wearing was fine and I could wear that instead. But I didn't listen to him, and I changed back into the other clothes that he said that I couldn't wear, as I wasn't going to see him that day anyway, being that I didn't live with him back then. Now, getting into when we moved in together, things were going pretty well at the start. He did rush things though. He proposed to me only about 3 or 4 months into the relationship. And so I guess that's kind of a bit of a red flag, but I didn't see it at the time. That was actually before we lived with each other though. Now I think about it, as we moved in with each other, I think it was about 5-6 months into the relationship. I can't actually fully remember because it was that long ago. And I lived with him for about 10 or 11 months, and we were together for a year and a half, something like that anyway. Don't know if that adds up, but yeah, that's something like that. And yeah, so it all started when this one day we had an argument, and I can't even remember what it was about. And he pushed me into the kitchen cupboard, and I got hurt, and he apologized and told me that it was a once-off and it would never happen again. I, of course, believed him and forgave him, and it just kept on getting worse and worse from then on. So it started out with name calling after that, putting me down, saying that no one loves me, that one of my best friends isn't my best friend, and that my family doesn't even love me or care about me, and just stuff like that. And then it got back into the physical side of things. So this is where it may get a bit triggering. So if you need to switch off, you can. I will totally understand that. So there was times when we would be having arguments, and he would lash out and blame it all on me and say it was my fault and I was the crazy one and the psycho, and I'm the one who needs mental health help and whatever. And he would hit me on my arms and leave bruises up my arms, and yeah, and there was times when he would choke me and I would try to get him to stop and he wouldn't listen. And I even tried to kick him once to get him off, and well, that was the worst mistake ever because it made him more violent towards me. So yeah, sorry if I'm a bit stuttery. It is a bit difficult to still talk about. I have posted publicly about this before on my socials, but like not actually doing a sit down video about it, just typing and words. So yeah, this is a whole different level of spreading awareness and my story out there, I guess you could call it. So yeah, and he also at times threatened me with a knife. He never actually cut me with the knife or stabbed me or anything, but he would get the knife and put it up to me and say, if you don't stop, I'm gonna slit your neck with this, and then I'm going to kill myself afterwards so that I don't have to go to jail. So yeah, and then he would be controlling about me with my phone. He would want to know my phone pin, but I wasn't allowed to know his. If I changed my phone pin, he would take my phone off me and threaten to throw the phone up against the wall, or he would hit me for it. And I wasn't allowed to have any male friends. If he found out about it, he would go on my phone and message them, or he would block them, and then he would abuse me. I wasn't even really allowed to have any friends actually. And yeah, he would also control what I would eat. So I'd want, say, something different for tea. He'd want the same thing nearly every night. And then we would go out for places to eat, and he would say where we can go. I couldn't just choose. He would always choose. I never got a say in it. So yeah, he was controlling on so many levels. I even started to have to dress different when I lived with him. I wasn't allowed to wear short skirts, short dresses, short shorts, because he said that they were too tarty, and I wasn't even allowed to watch some of my TV shows that I liked, like Home and Away, because I might be checking the guys out in the show. Ridiculous stuff like that. I had posters up on the wall of famous guys, like actors or singers. I had to take them down because he chucked a big hissy fit over it. There were actually some other signs of things that he did before I actually lived with him, was having the posters up. I remember he started a big argument with me when I was living with my mum and dad over that. And I didn't even see the warning signs then. How blinded was I? Pretty blinded, yeah? Yeah, that's what I thought. So, yeah. And then my mum came into the room and she was not impressed. She wanted to know what was going on, why he was going off his head, and I told her that he was going off his head just about me having male posters up of famous people. Yep, she was not impressed with him at one bit, and I can't blame her, because what a stupid thing for him to start an argument over, right? Absolutely pathetic. And yeah, there was times even too when I was living with him that she heard the way he spoke to me when I was on the phone to her, that she even came over this one time and said to me, you know, what's going on? Is he being violent and stuff? And said to him, you better not be. But she asked me in front of him, so of course I lied, because, you know, us victims, we cover up the truth at the time because we're scared of judgment. And also, not only that, we get told and threatened that if we open our mouth, we better watch out. And yeah, I did get told if I told anyone that he would kill me. So, of course, I kept my mouth shut and I lied. There was times that my nan seen bruises up my arms And she would ask what it was, and I told her that I ran into the door because that's what he would get me to tell people. And there was times that I didn't listen to him and I didn't cover up the bruises like he wanted me to. And his family members would ask me what the bruises were from, and I couldn't even say anything because he would turn around and would be like, oh, she ran into the door. So that's where I got the I ran into the door excuse from, was from him making me say that to other people if they asked me. And of course, his family were blindsided and they believed it. And yeah, and there was times that if he couldn't get his own way, he would threaten his own life too, to try to, guilt trip me. And it worked. It somehow worked, believe me. And yeah, and there was times that he would make me feel like I had to have sex with him. So I would, to keep his mouth shut. Even though I didn't want to, I did. And yeah. And I'm pretty sure he cheated on me because there was this one time just before I broke up with him. And we were all getting drunk. I wasn't really drunk though. I'd only had a few. And I walked into our bedroom and I see him just laying there in bed with another girl. They had clothes on, but still you don't lay in bed with another girl. So yeah, he did cheat because that's cheating. I was going to kick the girl out, but if I did, I knew there would be consequences towards me. So I let him get away with it and her get away with it. And I just slept on the lounge the night. Like, why did I put up with this? Why? Now I'm going to get into the story of why I left him. I'm hoping this is all making sense and adding up. I've had to split the video into 2 parts because I am finding it a bit difficult to talk about and how to put it all into words, if I'm being honest. But anyway, I hope this spreads awareness in some way and gives someone out there suffering some hope and courage. But anyway, so I left him this one day as I was at my house, and I'd been out for the day though with my nan. Can't remember if it was the doctor's, where it was, but I got back home and he wasn't there. He was out with the girl that I found him in bed with like a week or 2 before, and one of his guy mates. And when I got back, I got a phone call. No, I had to call him, about something to do with his brother. He took it out on me and was abusive to me over the phone and absolutely rude to me. And my nan heard every single thing he said. She was not impressed at all. She was like, why do you put up with this? That's no way to treat a woman. I totally agreed, said that I had enough, and she helped me pack me stuff, and we got out of there. I did have to go back though, like a week or 2 later, to get my stuff because I didn't take it all that night. And I went to Brisbane for about a week to stay with my best friend to have a break because I needed it. And then when I got back, I went to see my doctor with the help of my mum and Nan. After opening up to my mum about it, Nan helped me as mum didn't know the full story, even though she obviously knew what was going on behind the scenes. Partially, as I said before, she worked it out. And so, yeah, went to see my doctor and then spoke to my doctor about it, went to see a counsellor. First counsellor that I seen was no good after a few sessions. So went back to the doctor, told the doctor, went and seen another psychologist, and she is absolutely amazing. So I was seeing her weekly, fortnightly, and then it went on to monthly, until I have not seen her anymore since June last year. Actually, no, June 2018. So 2 years. That's like the longest that I have ever gone without having to see her. Pretty amazing. And I used to be on antidepressants to deal with it because of the panic attacks and PTSD of nightmares and etc. So I'm not on them anymore either. I used to take Valium when I had bad panic attacks. Haven't had to have a Valium in years either, which is amazing. And yeah, I also joined a Facebook group for domestic violence survivors and met some amazing friends through there, which is great. It really, really helped a lot. Even after I left the relationship, my ex was going on my Facebook and hacking it and writing statuses and messaging my friends, going off with them and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm thankful to every single friend out there and family member who got me through those really hard times. And some of you are watching this video today. So thank you. You know who you are, and I love you. And anyway, it also made it difficult for me to get into another relationship. People think that I moved on quite fast, which I guess maybe I kind of did. So I left him in the July of 2013, and I met my husband either December 2013, either the end or the start of January 2014, and we got together in February 2014. And so yeah, we've been together for 6.5 years, and I've only been separated from my ex for 7 years. But in saying that, my husband wanted to get with me many times before we did. He kept asking me out, and I kept rejecting him because of trust issues, because of my ex, and yeah, which is absolutely normal after getting out of that type of toxic, violent relationship. But I'm stronger now for it. I'm braver from it now. I can't believe I'm doing this video, and I'm sorry if it hasn't made sense in some parts, but it is definitely a difficult subject to talk about publicly. So I am trying my very, very best, and I appreciate you all for supporting me and taking your time out of the day to watch this story time. It means the absolute world. But I'm going to leave it there before I ramble on any more. But thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a lovely day, and I will see you all in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll put the post notification shout out on the screen now. Bye.